Excited to announce my first guest, Lee Hawkins, who Lee was an ex-media agency, but he's now a coach, and he's actually the first coach that I ever knew about and the person I spoke to when I was thinking about going into it. So thank you so much, Lee, for being my first guest. Welcome.
That's my pleasure. Thank you very much. It's good to be on. I've listened to some of your pods, not every single one, but I've listened to most of them, and I really like them. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I also say Lee is a really good friend of mine as well. So he really has been on like my journey of coaching and has been that person I can go, oh, I don't know if I could do it. And he's always been there with amazing advice. And I'll give you all the details of where you can, if you like the sound of him or think you want to be coached by Lee, I'll leave all the details at the end. So, okay, let's crack on, Lee. And we'll try and keep it as brief as we can because someone's got a football game.
We shouldn't talk for as long as we normally do.
No. Okay, so Lee, can you share a pivotal moment or experience in your life that empowered you to pursue your passion or your purpose?
Wow, a pivotal moment. Yeah, that's a big old question. I guess in terms of where I am now, I remember back in 2007, I remember feeling under pressure for the first time, first mortgage, first recession that I'd kind of, experienced as an adult, and first baby, and I just had this real big pressure on my shoulders, and pressure so much I cricked my neck one day, and then I went to this place in Covent Garden, and they were doing special offers that on their anniversary each year. They did a special offer, and it was their 17th year of being in as a practice. So he fixed my neck, and he said, "What else would you like to try?" And on the top floor, they did hypnotherapy and kind of hypnotherapy / coaching, and I said, "Oh, well, I'll try that." And yeah, and just the positive reframing of all of my pressures in that session. It was my first kind of real experience of coaching, and kind of sharing that. So yeah, so a bad neck, some pressure, and some kind of solutions from that session. And I guess that was my first pivotal moment in terms of where I am now as a coach. If can I add a second one?
Of course you can.
Okay. So my dad was a car dealer and had a Vauxhall dealership for decades and decades. And the general consensus, because he was successful, and we were very lucky and went on holidays and things like that. As kids, with as a family, that's what they loved to do with the little bit of money that they had. And the general consensus was that I would kind of go into the trade and do a lot of that, and why not go into a ready-made successful business? But my dad said to me, do something that you enjoy, do something that you love. He said, because you'll be doing it a bloody long time.
How true is that?
Yeah, that's it. So, and I loved media and marketing and advertising. And I did that for a long time. And then I loved helping people, mentoring people. And I get to do that now every day, which is pretty cool. So that, I guess that was the do something that you love and you enjoy and gets you in a state of flow. And that advice was terrific.
Amazing. It's amazing how sometimes it's hard to put it down to like one moment. And like, I love that your first experience of like coaching was so long ago, when probably wasn't really like hypnotherapy we've always heard of, but coaching, I don't know about you, but it's still quite a new thing that a lot of people haven't necessarily either tried or done before. So I've had it to have an impact so early on. And then, our families always kind of sow that seed. And you know, we're both parents, and all you want as a parent is for your kids to be doing something that they're happy with. And I think years ago it used to be sticking in one job, where now you can be pivotal and kind of change direction. And I find that really empowering, that, you know, if you stay in a job as long as you want to, amazing. But if you feel the need to change, that's equally as good.
Totally. And I listened to a good audiobook by Jimmy Carr a while back, and one of it's kind of like a self-help book as well as being quite funny.
Yeah.
The odd swear word here and there and stuff like that. But there was something he said in that, which was that we're a different version of ourselves, like every 15 years. Wow. You know, 0 to 15 at school, and obviously kind of growing up, then 15 kind of into your mid to late, you know, 20s. Yeah. And, you know, kind of relationships and career, starting to think about a career, but feeling your way. And then 30 to 40 or 45, maybe putting your foot down on the career, but then also maybe in that stage of buying maybe a flat, if you can, you know, get on the ladder, and relationships and marriage and things like that. And then kind of 40 to 55, which is kind of, unfortunately, I'm in that section, well into that section now. So yeah, just that, and the sense of we are different versions of ourselves, but also we get told by the trend and the experts that our kids will probably have 4 different careers in their lifetimes, and I think it's empowering for them to know that just do some stuff that you enjoy at the beginning, because it's probably gonna pivot a little bit, you know, with AI or whatever it is. It will change, and just do something that makes you happy.
Definitely, that is the key, isn't it? And it's hard when you are really young to know sometimes what makes you happy, but sometimes you just got to try different things out. Some of us are lucky enough to know early on what we want to do, but well, okay, right, on to the next question, Lee. Hopefully not as big a one as that one. But I did have questions that were really simple. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a bit more professional, so I'm a bit more wordy on you. Sorry. What are some of the practical strategies or tools you've used to overcome challenges and obstacles in your personal or your professional life?
Oh, so some of the, I guess goal setting is, you know, something I've always done. So in media, my old career, I was planning and buying. So you're planning things, that TV spots that people might see, or print ads that they might read. So there was a planning process, and then working with clients and leading large businesses and client teams. I guess it was trying to foresee problems that might happen. So there's a lot of planning in there, and then that, you know, personal goals, so planning goals, planning stretch goals, you know, and understanding that the journey is just as important, you know, as the end goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess setting those goals from a young age. I don't know, I think my mother-in-law always says that I said I'd get married near 30, which she was probably not impressed about. I don't know, given that me and Lisa have been together so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always kind of planned certain things and milestones and finances and things like that. So yeah, I guess goal setting is something that I've found really important and has empowered me to succeed some of the time.
Yeah. And I guess it flows with that kind of, you know, as a coach, a lot of us love goal setting. I have to say, I kind of step back from it a bit more, and really, I think because of me, I like setting the goals, but sometimes I'm not always clear on my vision, and that's like things that I've had to be working on. So the word goals for some people can be quite daunting, but equally you kind of need them to know where you're going to go and like plan that journey, like you said.
Yeah, I think I think it's like a bell curve, isn't it? It's kind of like 20% of people really love the numbers and they want to get there, and 20% want it to be a little bit more loosey goosey and just kind of, you know, step back from it. But I think being intentional and saying, you know, so I would like to go for a swim to the gym, you know, 5 or 6 times a week. But if I set that as a hard and fast goal, I'm always going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, I might do, you know, I did 4, you know, a couple of weeks ago, 4 times in a week, but then that was because I took a few days off. But, you know, so, you know, if you're intentional about, so if you say, I'd like to go 2 or 3 times a week, then you're going to be happy more often than. So I think it's an intention that you will do some kind of exercise.
Yeah.
You know, like tonight, walking down from Seven Sisters to Tottenham's ground is a good half an hour walk for me. So that's an hour. That's a mile and a half. So, you know, the fact that I've done bugger all today, apart from sit on my bum coaching people, I know that I'm going to walk 3 miles tonight. So that's, you know, just kind of making those small little goals, and I won't get the bus and I won't get the overground. So that's all good. But then if it rains, that might not come off.
But again, it comes back to that intention, doesn't it? And almost kind of, you know, what you really like to do, and then narrow it down to like what is realistic, so that, because it is about achieving them. And I think perhaps for too long I've set too way out there, and I need to like hone in a bit, and then you feel happier once you see that actually. And I think I'm more of a visual person. So on my gym app, it gives me little dots when I've been there, and if I see more dots, it makes me happy. So I'm like, okay.
No, that's it. Yeah, having those intentions, you know, and knowing it's the journey rather than just always the numbers is the good thing.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Who or what has been a major source of inspiration and empowerment for you? I know you're a real avid book reader, and if you do go on to Lee's website, he's got a great section where he recommends loads of books. I highly recommend people go and check that out. So
who or what? So yeah, I've always enjoyed a book, or to be honest, I was never a big reader at all. Okay, and at school I was pretty average, you know, C's, lots of C's and stuff like that. I love an autobiography, you know, and I love to live vicariously through other people like that, which is, you know, successful people, sports stars. I've been intentionally reading more female kind of books recently. So like Minnie Driver and people like that, just funny, resilient kind of people. I do like a good rock star, you know. Duff McKagan's book is like fantastic, but then that's kind of just like probably being a bit more straight-laced myself, that, you know, living through other people. So I love an autobiography. I love a podcast, as you know, but I love, you know, comedic ones as much as kind of help ones. I do read the odd, so I'm into audiobooks at the moment. So I'm kind of loving those. Again, they tend to be more kind of famous people than self-help, but I do a bit of self-help, or shelf help, as Greg Tyndall would call it, which I like as a thing. So kind of, I guess being a bit of a magpie and stealing little bits of silver, and therefore using those to come up with, whether it be business ideas or anecdotes. Dave Trott is amazing. I love his books. You know, he was a real creative genius from the advertising world, and some of his stories, like the invention of swearing and kind of things like that, are just brilliant things. So I guess being a magpie and taking from lots of different books and podcasts and bits of information, I find really inspiring.
Amazing. Wow. I feel empowered to go and check some of the. I didn't know Mini Driver had a
Oh,
like.
it's wonderful.
And Lee and our group of friends, you all call me Minnie anyway, so I feel like
Yeah.
I should be going to read that.
And you're normally the driver.
And I am the driver, exactly. Okay, how do you maintain, I mean, you've dipped into this already, but the healthy work-life balance while still pursuing your goals and passions?
Well, health is an interesting thing. So my mental health is a lot better since kind of running my own thing and doing my own thing and coming out of media. I wouldn't say my physical health is anything to write home about. But look, just boundaries. I was never great at boundaries, and I was ambitious and I worked hard and I traveled a lot, and I could have been a better dad and husband because I think that I was working long hours, and it got better towards the end. I'm chuffed a bit, but also very jealous of people now who have got these kind of hybrid working, kind of practices and a day or two, if not more, a week to have that a little bit more balance and not be commuting and stuff like that. So that's great. But yeah, since doing my own thing, just dinner times and being present with the kids, and I think but having those boundaries and trying to turn off is really, really important, and as important as being intentional around date nights and seeing your friends and going out for walks with your mates and supporting each other. We've got, me and two mates have got a WhatsApp, a little check-in thing that we do to check in on each other and just make sure that we're all right, because we all have little dips, kind of here and there. And so just trying to be a bit intentional to reach out and connect and support each other.
And I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, Lee, but I think women are a lot better of having those little groups where men just kind of talk what their interests are as opposed to like deep dive. And I think there's more men that are definitely doing that. And I don't know whether I think it's definitely still harder for a lot of men to talk about, I'm struggling at the moment, because the reality is we all do go through those, like yesterday I felt really anxious and I spoke to Elton and was like, oh, I don't know why I'm suddenly feeling anxious, because I felt like I'd been all right for a while. But then you talk it through and realize, okay, it's this, it's that. And then you're able to kind of move on. So the fact that you've got a little group of men that you can go to must be incredibly empowering.
Totally. And I think men are getting better at it. We have this little thing called Thirsty Thursday, which is the first Thursday of every month. We go to our local pub, the guys that live on our road. So there was 7 of us last week. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 or 4. Sometimes there might be 10 to 15. But even just in our session last week, just having a few drinks together, we talked about mental health, we talked about physical health, and scans, and people were pretty open, and we just got onto a bit of a, sometimes we just talk silliness, of course.
But you need that.
Yeah, that's it. And then other times it's, we're talking health, and we got onto a health one last week, and it's fantastic. And you just go, yeah, it is getting better. And hopefully for our kids, I think the sense during the pandemic was that boys might be better off than girls because they're all tend to be gaming and therefore talking more. The upside and the downside of mobile phones is that probably everyone is talking for longer and more. Sometimes you catch, I go down to my kids and they're fast asleep but still on the phone to someone.
we're like,
going on?
we go to bed, but we're hearing something like, are they still on their phone? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. What could they possibly be talking about? But yeah.
So hopefully that the power of connection will be for good,
Yeah.
and we just need to be careful, don't we, about all of the potential downsides of that always on nature.
Yeah. And maybe that's it. I think maybe as men, there are more of those discussions going on, but perhaps as like the wives or the girlfriends, you probably wouldn't come back and go, oh, we had a great chat about this, and this. So then we might not know, and then think all you talk about is football. So I guess not that you have to declare, and it's not about necessarily being nosy, but sometimes you don't know what. I think women are just better at talking and can go blah 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 about I know I can. Not everyone is. So, and maybe like Thirsty Thursdays could be a thing like nationwide.
Yeah, it was a good excuse anyway.
Yeah.
And it's only the first Thursday of the month.
Oh, first, yeah, not every Thursday. Then you'd be going somewhere else. Okay. Maybe. Okay, last question. What advice, Lee, would you give to someone who is looking to take the first steps towards becoming more empowered in their own life? Like number one,
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, yeah, get a coach, but no, reach out to someone, and a mentor, maybe, kind of at work. Mentors are really good, and have a few. I remember doing a social media post once about your C-suite. Your C-suite, so your chief fun officer. It's like me and Elton, your other half. If there's one person in the world that I will always giggle with, on the phone, if I'm feeling a bit down, then it'll be him. It's just silliness. Another mate down in Australia, Johnny Hawkins, just absolute silliness, whether it be on WhatsApp or whatever. So your chief fun officer, you kind of your chief, and it might be marketing officer, the person that helps you in your work, for something like that. And then different mentors for things where you might have either a connection or a weakness. Just having that group of people that you can call and you can talk to, and it's like, you and I have had lots of good conversations, haven't you? And I've learned as much as you've learned from me. And when it comes to marketing, you got your own podcast. It's like, it's brilliant. One of my other clients who's a coach, she's got a wonderful newsletter, and I haven't got either of those. So it's great. But it's kind of, we all do things in our own different ways. So having a group of people that you can lean on and learn from and talk to and share with, I think it helps to empower you to being a better version of yourself, to having less self-doubt, less imposter syndrome, and all of that. And it's great to have a sounding board.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it almost comes back to that kind of like the balance of happiness of life as well, isn't it? Because it's always about connection and kind of community, and like you say, like your C-suite of your chief officers, like if everyone kind of almost thinks of people in their lives like that, and even sometimes people that you come across just by chance that are really empowering, is like it is just great to connect with people and hear what someone else has got to say or how they see it. And I think in the conversations we've had, I always come away feeling like more empowered to want to do something, or that Lee sees that in me, which always feels like a huge compliment in itself. So and I'm sure all your clients kind of feel that from you. So kind of thanks for being out there for people and doing an amazing job of what you're doing. So, and thanks for being my podcast.
Oh, well, thanks for inviting me. It's fantastic to have a chat as always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great kind of what you're doing, and it's a good life, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
good career to live through other people and help them, unblock their
yeah,
blocks that they've got.
yeah. No, it really is. Okay, thank you. I'll leave all your details on the whatever the show notes or whatever are called. So if anyone's looking for an amazing coach, you wouldn't go far wrong with Lee. So thank you very much. And remember, empower you.